You've spent years calling it thinking it through. But let's be honest, you're not thinking. You're hiding. Every list you made, every podcast you consumed, every conversation you had about the plan was just a more sophisticated way to do nothing. There was a time when you didn't ask for permission before you wanted things. You wanted something, and you simply moved. No council of inner voices, no spreadsheet of risks, no waiting for the stars to align. Somewhere along the way, life taught you to hesitate, to build elaborate mental architecture around every desire before allowing yourself to feel it. And now, the architecture is all there is, a cathedral of reasons and counter-reasons, and no one living inside it. Kierkegaard understood this grief before it had a name. He called the condition angst, the vertigo of pure freedom, the panic that sets in when you realize the cage door was open the whole time, and you chose to stay. What he prescribed wasn't comfort. It was the leap, a surrender so complete it borders on violence. The moment you stop asking what if and start building the life you refuse to wait for any longer. Think about what your life looked like before the overthinking calcified into a habit. There was a version of you who just moved, who sent the email before the draft was perfect, who said yes before the plan was fully formed. Not because you had certainty, but because you hadn't yet learned to treat uncertainty like a threat. You acted, and then you figured it out on the way down. Then something shifted. Maybe it was a failure that left a mark. Maybe it was someone you trusted telling you to be more careful. Maybe it was just the slow accumulation of adult life, the realization that the stakes were real, and real things could break. And from that moment on, you started treating every major decision like an equation that had a correct answer at the bottom of it, if you just thought hard enough, long enough, carefully enough. But here's what nobody warned you about. Life's actual hard decisions don't have correct answers. Choosing who to become, whether to walk away from something safe, whether to build the thing that scares you. These aren't problems with solutions waiting to be discovered. They're existential commitments. And your brain, your beautiful, anxious, pattern-matching brain is completely wrong for the job. Kierkegaard diagnosed this in the 1840s with painful accuracy. He watched people spend entire lifetimes in what he called the aesthetic stage, grazing through options, keeping every door cracked open, refusing to commit fully to anything so they'd never have to grieve what they left behind. Sound familiar? That's not wisdom. That's not strategy. That's the ego running a protection racket on your own life. Every pros and cons list you've ever made for a decision that mattered was your psychology buying itself another week of not having to bleed. And here's the part that actually stings. The tool you're using to solve the paralysis is the paralysis. Rationality is extraordinary at optimizing routes and analyzing data. It cannot tell you who to become. It was never built for that. And every genuine transformation in a human life, every real, irreversible leap, happens before the evidence is in, not after, before the outcome is visible, before the safety net is confirmed. The commitment precedes the clarity, always. Look at anyone who built something real from scratch. They didn't wait until the numbers made sense. They made an irrational, disproportionate bet on an idea that had no business working yet. They moved before they were ready, and the readiness came from the movement, not the other way around. Kierkegaard called this a qualitative jump, specifically to separate it from anything gradual or incremental. You can't arrive at a new version of your life by inching toward it carefully. The jump itself is a transformation. The before and the after are separated by a single act of violence against your own hesitation. Now, look at your day honestly, not judgmentally, just honestly. How many browser tabs are open right now for a decision you haven't made yet? How many hours of content have you consumed about finding your path or building clarity? How many conversations have you had where you talked about the thing at length and then went home and did nothing? Every one of those is a drain dressed up as progress. Your brain releases a small hit of reward for the feeling of moving, the research, the planning, the discussion, because it registers as productive. But you haven't moved, you've buffered, and the decision is still exactly where you left it 6 months ago, collecting dust. Here's the micro move that breaks the loop. Right now, today, pick one decision you've been orbiting for longer than 3 months. Not the biggest one, not the easiest one, the most loaded one, the one you have told yourself you'll make soon. And ask yourself, what is the smallest, most irreversible action I could take in the next 24 hours that commits me past the point of cheap retreat? Not the full decision, Not the complete plan, just the action that makes going back genuinely expensive. Book the appointment, send the first message, say the thing out loud to someone who will hold you to it. Burn the bridge, not dramatically, but permanently. The moment you remove the exit ramp, your brain stops running escape calculations and starts solving for survival instead. Constraint doesn't kill creativity, it ignites it. The engine that comfort permanently sedates wakes up the moment it has no other choice. Now, I need to take apart a lie that's been living rent-free inside the self-improvement world for decades. The idea that you need to feel ready before you act. You won't feel ready, not for anything that actually matters. Readiness is a feeling the nervous system generates after you've been doing something long enough to trust your own hands at it, never before. Waiting to feel ready is like standing in a cold room waiting to feel warm before you'll agree to light the fire. The actual mechanism is far less poetic and far more reliable. Repetition, commitment, showing up as the version of yourself you decided to be, even on the days, especially on the days when the feeling isn't backing you up. Think of it like breaking in a pair of stiff, new boots. Painful, unresponsive, zero feedback that they'll ever conform to your shape. And then one morning, without ceremony, they just fit. Your identity works exactly the same way. You don't discover who you are by waiting for a revelation. You wear it in day after day through the friction of the commitment itself. Stack enough of those days and something fundamental shifts. The decision that used to terrify you becomes a baseline. The leap you agonized over becomes a thing you can't believe you almost didn't take. You stop being the person who considers their life and start being the person who builds it. In real time, with incomplete information, without permission. The anxiety doesn't disappear. Let's be completely honest about that. But it changes shape. It stops being the nausea of 1,000 open doors and becomes the sharp, functional focus of someone already in motion. That's not a reward for courage. That's what angst was always supposed to be, the proof that you're alive and free, finally being used as fuel instead of a cage. So, here's what has to stop. Stop waiting for the moment that feels right. It's not coming. Stop using preparation as armor against the pain of choosing. Stop consulting people who haven't done what you want to do about whether you should do it. And start this today. Make the call before the data is complete. Commit before you're qualified. Build your confidence from the action, not in advance of it. The certainty you're waiting for is manufactured inside the leap, not found before it. Kierkegaard's final word on this wasn't gentle. He said the deepest form of despair isn't suffering. It isn't failure. It's a life you could have lived, the self you chose not to become, by waiting for a guarantee that was never going to arrive. You are not stuck because you lack answers. You are stuck because you are free. Completely, terrifyingly, irreversibly free. And freedom, without the guts to act on it, is the most elegant prison ever constructed. The leap was never about knowing where you land. It was always about choosing, with full knowledge of the risk, that anywhere forwards is better than standing still. Jump.